you're still here? Look, I'm not crazy. Look, you're only here because of a court-mandated order to make sure that I'm not crazy and I'm not gonna kill anybody else. What are you? My mom? My walrus mom? I own a codebreaker bow? I've never even taken it out of the box. I don't even know if the entire... How have I owned a codebreaker bow for over a year and never even fired the thing? It's never even been put together. Welcome to Fuzzy Walrus Industries, I'm Walcom S7, and today we're doing Tag Back, the show where every week... You are already dead. We're almost every week, and trying to do every week, take a look at a blaster from the past to see what it could offer us today in the present. And this time, we're taking a look at a stringer, the not-so-loved variant of blaster propulsion there is out there. You've got, of course, battery-powered with, like, flywheels, and, of course, spring-powered and battery spring-powered, like what's in the Stampede, and then you've got air power and all that kind of stuff entails. And then you have stringers, which are usually terrible. But I love the Fair Fortune Crossbow. It is one of my favorite blasters ever, and I had no idea what to even expect from this blaster, because I had seen, like, one review of it from Nobicon when it came out, and even that was more about watching Nobicon in dresses than actually watching about the blaster, because they didn't really talk a whole lot about it, but this is one of the coolest things ever. And when it comes to a stringer, it's more about the fact that it's dead silent, and it's extremely satisfying to shoot. I like this thing a lot, but there has been other stringers. In fact, the Crossbolt is one of my favorite blasters of all time, but then there's that one that I haven't really ever talked about, and yet I've owned one for like a year, and I've never even taken it out of the box. The Codebreaker Crossbow, the pump-action variant of all of the stringer blasters, and you'd think that would be a lot more popular, and yet I've never seen one of these in a war, and I don't really think anybody really talks about it all that much, and I've honestly never fired one. But when I saw this thing a long time ago, I figured it had a lot of potential, and for some reason I just never picked it up, and I don't know why, but here it is, and I should be putting it together because I think this thing might be secretly awesome. Just clip that on the front, and then take this thing and feed it through the back, and clip that in. And this is like your stock. Just kind of goes. It's pretty comfortable. It's very comfortable. This pump grip is very large and meaty and good for the hands. It does advertise a range of up to 75 feet, which is pretty darn good, all things considered, but it is, of course, the Elite Standard. It holds 8 darts in this open-face cylinder up here at the top, which is not too difficult to reload, although it is kind of a pain with these AccuFake darts. And then once you get those things in there, you should be good to go. I don't know if you have to return the pump to its forward position. I would guess you'd have to, but... What's going on here? Oh. Well, that time it did something. There we go! Well, that does not like these darts whatsoever. Oh no, it's on an empty cylinder. What is... Perhaps it does not like AccuFake darts. Let's try it with some normal darts. finicky, which is not great. Not great at all. But when it works reasonably well. That's a big win. Well, the main gimmick of the Codebreaker Crossbow is, of course, the code on the side of the thing, besides the fact that, of course, it's a pump-action stringer blaster, or a pump-action crossbow, which is pretty darn cool. It has this little code thing on the side of it, so if you were to change the combination, nobody would be able to figure out how to fire your blaster, which is probably more of a hindrance to you than anybody else, but I guess they were just throwing everything at the wall and tried to see what stuck when it came to this blaster. And the funniest part about all this is that while you can technically, like, set a code with this, like, button right here, which invalidates the entire point of having the Codebreaker, the biggest issue is that the only one that does anything is the middle tumbler. All the other ones, the other two on the side, are literally just empty and don't engage with the mechanism in any sort of way, which kind of invalidates the entire purpose. But overall, the Codebreaker Crossbow looks pretty darn cool in my opinion. The stock is a bit small, but my pudgy little body can take care of it, no issue whatsoever. The prods are pretty nice, although the biggest issue with that is probably going to be trying to remove any bit of them so you could have a armless crossbow like we do like, if you don't want the big, large, almost useless crossbow arms on it. And it is pump action. The grip is pretty small, but it fits my tiny hands, and I mean, overall, I like it with this thumbhole stock right here, but yeah, if it was a little more reliable. See, now it's not even firing, it's not even trying. Now, this is not all that surprising to me, as I had the same issue with things like the Fair Fortune crossbow when it first came out, and I guarantee you, you remove the one little lock that prevents this, all the way back. These are brand new darts. You remove those locks, and you're probably going to have a lot more fun with this blaster, and that's not a terrible thing. I mean, it is different, and even if you were to tighten the string on this thing, which you can do with these blasters pretty much effortlessly, although this seems to be the most difficult one to do any of that kind of stuff with, since there's not a very easy way of tethering the string to any other part of the bow. I know with the Fair Fortune you can just loop it around, and with the crossbolt you can, again, just kind of loop it around, and there's a second notch that you can kind of stuff the whole string into. On this one, there isn't anything like that. The crossbow arms are not designed for that, but even if you do any kind of string tensioning, the maximum you could probably get, even with fresh darts, is around 85 to 90 FPS. It's not bad, it's not great, and that's kind of the biggest crutch with these blasters. They are different and they are cool, and the Codebreaker Crossbow does have some nice ergonomics and feel to it. I mean, it's not very often you have a pump action crossbow kind of thing, but yeah, you're gonna have to open this thing up and do a whole lock removal and everything like that to make this thing even remotely good. And even if you try to make it remotely good, is there really a valid reason to use this thing? Well, unsurprisingly, that's pretty freaking loud. That is actually exceedingly loud, but the actual firing, if it would actually eject this one dart, is relatively quiet. It's a lot quieter than like a freaking spring blaster, which ka-thunk and rack. It's a lot better than that, but it doesn't have the same kind of nice punch that I expect from these kinds of blasters. The crossbolt was a neat bullpup configuration with a top slide, which was really nifty at the time. It's really the only way to get a bullpup blaster without any kind of flywheels or anything in it. And then, of course, there's the Fair Fortune bow, which is so much better, it's not even funny. I absolutely adore that blaster. And then there's this thing. And I think there's like the Wookiee bowcaster, and there's probably like the little arrow shooter ones, which are freaking god-awful. And really, there isn't a whole lot in the whole stringer category. In this one, it's okay. I paid $10 for it, and if anything, the body shape is really nice if you want to put like the grip and, of course, the pump grip on something, which, of course, I've already known somebody to use this pump grip on another blaster. There's a lot to love there for parts. As an actual functional blaster, you would have to take the thing apart and remove the locks to make this do absolutely anything, and even then, it seems pretty finicky. Your best bet is to, of course, clip out the dart pegs and try to get some kind of decent anything out of it. And even then, it really doesn't seem a whole lot better than the Fair Fortune bow, which you can find for pretty much pennies. So, is it worth picking up a Codebreaker bow? Kinda, maybe. Just kinda maybe. It's a neat blaster. It has some weird gimmicks built into it just to try to fill up space, which I can appreciate because otherwise it's just a big hunk of empty plastic. But it really isn't anything remarkable. It's not even really war-worthy, which I thought it'd be one of the most war-worthy of all of the blasters in the line. If it would just fire this one dart, I would be extremely happy because it is a packed fresh dart. I think I got one more dart in here. Nope, it won't even fire that one. It's really, really bad. I mean, these are pack fresh darts and it won't even fire those, so... yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's a problem with just my blaster. This seems to be an issue I have with basically every single one of these stringer blasters except for the crossbolt, and even then... ugh. Honestly, I don't think you need to seek this one out. It's only a couple of years old at this point. It's like, came out in 2015. And I don't think you're missing anything by passing up on this blaster. It is pretty cool, but if you bought one when it came out, I'm a little sorry for you. I paid $10, and even then, it's a cool shell, and that's about it. But it is something different, and when it comes to this hobby, that's usually the most important thing, is just have something different other than the 19 other people in the field with a strife. Let me know what you think about the Codebreaker Crossbow down in the comment section below. And do you have a fondness for this blaster, or you like me and think there's better options you could use? There's not even like a front post or anything to aim with this thing. You really only have this back here. At least it does have a tactical rail, I guess, but yeah, I really, really wanted to like this thing, but let me know if there's something I'm just missing and that this thing is secretly awesome. I may still take it apart and try to figure out a way to make it better, and you'll most likely see a video on that, because I do like my stringers, and I am experimenting extensively with the Fair Fortune bow, because if I can get the Fair Fortune bow to be like, I don't know, 90 FPS as well, then it will be the single greatest blaster in my entire arsenal, because it's just so much fun to use. But that's a long time away. That hopefully I can do something with this thing to validate the $10 I spent. I'm Walcom S7, thank you very much for watching this video, and of course I hope to see you in an entirely different one, and don't worry, because this thing can't frickin' fire a dart anyway. Pack fresh darts.